I'm getting you.
I'm well, thank you. I'm well, thank you. Whereabouts are you calling us from? Is it Switzerland? Is it Nairobi? Is it Shanghai or Shenzhen? Is it
It's
somewhere else?
only Switzerland today.
Only Switzerland. How's the view? Alps?
The view is really pretty. You can see the lake from here and the mountain. Really pretty.
No better place to build a startup.
Exactly.
Or at least bridge the gap to China. Build a bridge to China. Louise, give us some context for the stream on who you are and what you do.
100%. I'm Louise. I'm Swiss. I have a background in business and sustainability. I started actually in Egypt, where I built a carbon credit system for 3,000 farmers, where we gave them a tool to actually make sustainability profitable. Moved to Kenya and worked then in microfinance, and then shifted my whole career and started my own company with 22, raised capital, built a startup for 2.5 years, and now closed it earlier this year. And now I'm focusing a lot on community building, also try to enable other people to do the same as me, to understand the whole ecosystem and to build something really cool. And I'm doing it a lot in Europe, but also building bridges with China. And yeah, just trying to be the bridge maker wherever people are, and just give opportunity to the one that want to build something cool.
The black box that is China, can you explain it to me? I have no idea. Can you give me some
You need to
context?
go. You need to take a plane and go. I cannot explain it. That's how it goes. I mean, I think the black box is coming from two different ways. I think it's first like how we portray it here in the West and what we know about it. I think first, like you don't really know much about it on the media or on the information you get. And then apart from this, just people use different platforms. So yeah, you can be on LinkedIn, but you're not gonna see whatever is happening on WeChat or other Chinese platform. So I think there's first huge information gap, and then on top of this information gap, there is another ecosystem on the other way. Things are growing really fast. System is different. The culture is so different. So it's really just a really cool, fast-paced ecosystem that I think you need to go to see with your eyes and feel, because there's kind of no way other than learning more about it.
How does it compare to how we perceive the valley to be in San Francisco or New York as an example? Is it completely different?
No, I think in a way it's similar, but I think it's similar in the pace, but like not that many people knows about what's really happening in China. I feel like it's quite easy to just go to SF in New York and meet people, and people are open and all of this. The Chinese ecosystem is quite difficult because you need to know people, and if you don't know anyone, you don't go anywhere, and you just like kind of nothing is happening. So I think there's a barrier in that sense. And then also I think the whole system also in China makes it easier for some technologies to grow and also grow way quicker. You could have seen it also a lot with EV vehicle in China in the last few years. So also I think the whole political system also helps a lot in some ways, a lot of innovation, which is not also happening in the US. So I think it's still quite different, but I think the pace is similar, if not faster in China.
Why did you want to go and build a bridge to China? Is it because of the capital that exists there that founders can access? Is it because it's just a market that actually there's value to be given from Europe to China and the other way around? Or is it you just have a love of the culture and just thought, well, I've got to find a way to blend everything together?
Yeah. No, I think the real thing is like I'm just extremely curious, and I think it was the same thing that pushed me to just after uni lived in the middle of the desert in Egypt, which made no sense. I could have just got a good job in Switzerland and live my life.
But no, she
So
chose she chose the sand dunes.
yeah, I think I'm just really attracted to like something that doesn't really make sense. So I think my brain is just like, oh, I don't understand this. I want to go in there and just I want to understand more. So I think it's really something interesting to me where I'm just like, wow, I don't get this. So I'm like, I just took a flight and landed there, and then I didn't even know what I was going to build. So I had no clue either. I think just I was just pushed by curiosity mainly.
What are the insights you've picked up? What about the Chinese ecosystem do you think that we don't understand properly yet?
Mm, I think it's difficult to say now because I have kind of both side of both, so I don't know what
Hmm.
people don't know yet. Um,
What shocked you?
I think you're shocked by everything. Like it's so safe. It's so like everything. The way you order your food, the way you talk to people, the way they building their product, the way they think about the way they're building their product. Just like everything is different. So I think that's what I also really like, and I think what really interests me. And if someone has an idea, like a robot can be built in 48 hours. because also everything is close to each other. So also the pace is really fast, and just also the talent is really, really strong. So it's quite easy to build something quite quickly,
Oh,
which is just dream for a builder to just have an idea and have something like created at the end of the week. So I think that's quite satisfying also.
I want to jump to the desert in Egypt. Why? Why were you curious about going and doing something completely unreasonable?
Mm-hmm. So I before this I worked also in sustainability, but I was quite remote. So I was really want to like build something against climate change. And I was like, yeah, it's cool to be in Switzerland, Europe, and talk about climate change, but if I don't live in the problem, I'm not going to be able to find a solution for it. So I think for me that was really, really important to be also in a place where you like every day you feel the importance of climate change, because I was working with farmers and everything's getting drier and you cannot farm more, and like you really like it's something that is in your day-to-day life. Compare here if you're in Europe, yes, you see some difference maybe in the season or whatsoever, but like it's not something that is so much in front of your eyes. And I think for me it's important like not to be too far away from the problem and to be more reminded of it, because a lot of people otherwise forget about the issue, I would say.
It must have been incredibly difficult to just wrap up university in Europe, fly all the way out to the middle of the desert, and just decide that, yep, I'm going to spend time here and try and build something with these farmers. What did you end up building?
So basically, the farm I ended up in was already doing sustainable agriculture. So it's also called carbon farming, in a way that you can do farming in a way that you sequester some carbon through the way you process and do farming. And so the tool we built is more of an accounting tool that understands how much carbon you are
Oh,
offsetting
okay.
while doing, and then it actually generates the carbon credit. And then companies can buy carbon credit, as we also do a lot in Europe, to offset your emissions. And then of this carbon, it's really just an, a non-physical asset, then retrieve profits and money for the farmers themselves.
Was it profitable? Did it ended up work? Did it end up working?
It, yeah, it worked. I think at the end, made 4.8 then million euro in terms of price of carbon credit, and they're still pushing it through. So
So you create
working
value wherever you go. Basically, is the sort of overarching thing.
we're trying to.
I think that's the thing, right? It's like wherever, whatever we do, whatever we touch, it's important to create value and be close to the problem, be close to the customer, be close to the consumer. I'm When we were building some research for the show and your segment, obviously we scrape through LinkedIn and try and understand what it is that these people do. Tell me about Sigma.
Yeah, Sigma is a big
You
family.
must have a really unique perspective being the director of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I joined what 2.5, 3 years ago. And Sigma, I mean, when I joined, people were like, "Oh, like people were talking about it's like it changed my life whatsoever," and I was like, "Yeah, for sure, it's gonna change your life," and it
We've
actually
had,
did.
I think we've had like five or six
Yeah,
Sigma fellows on the show over the last
terrible.
2 years. It's incredible. They are some of the most talented individuals I've ever come across.
Yeah, that's the thing. So when you join, they're like, "Oh, I found all my best friends there," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And the thing is, it's true. It's really true. Like you just meet incredibly talented and curious and just kind people, and they're going through the same thing as you, the same age and the same lifestyle. And it's crazy to make friends that you can call at 2 a.m. because you have a problem, because you're just scared because you need to fire someone the next day and you just don't know how to do because you're super young and you never did it, or to call someone to know what you're going to do next in your career, or understand how you're going to raise or help with investors or with a product. So it's a big family, and super lucky to also be also close and helping to like grow so the chapter and the continent now with Europe. So it's a crazy good community, and I think there's nothing comparable because I'm also a lot into community building, and nothing compares. So it's a really great community to be part of.
How important is the community element across all of the things that you do? Whether that's the community, well, whether that's the bridge building to China, whether that's the Euro Federation, whether that's Sigma. Community at its core seems to be across the board. How important is that?
I think for me it's mainly like I think it's a human behind it that is really important. I think also often people ask always coming to the core of it. And I think for me, it's just like, I think you can do anything if you have really good humans around you. So I think community for me is super important. And also like, also I struggled in the past when I was younger, like to network. I went to business school and people were going to network and talk about like whatever, an investment. And like, I didn't find at all my place in the whole thing. So for me, networking was always a really, really difficult thing until I kind of understood that networking is just making friends and helping each other. And I think for me, that's where I was like, community is great. Actually, community is networking, but it's actually also just making cool connections with really great people and helping each other.
I love it. I think that Sigma does that incredibly well. They're a really tight knit group of people that come together and really help each other. How are you building out that community in Europe at this moment in time? Is there certain things that you like to do, certain nuances that are different from what everyone else does?
I think so. As we building all over Europe, also like the different hubs have different needs, and I think you just need to be a bit sensitive to understand which hubs needs what and at which stage they are. Obviously, Paris is not going to be the same as the one we have in Poland, which is not going to be the same as the one that is in Paris, in Switzerland, or in London. So I think it's a bit different because there's different stages and different founders, and they do need different type of help. So we have some countries that are also earlier because within the culture of the country, it is not the same. And there's also less founders. So in some country, we're trying to also host a bit more events for earlier stage founders to also start their journey to entrepreneurship. And then other hubs like London, which is also way much fast paced, we have way much more founders, where we have a bit more advanced event. But I think for me, it's super interesting to being able to have a bird-eye view in all of the different ecosystem, like knowing what's happening in Stockholm and how much it's growing. I would have never known about like the founder house they're having up there.
Oh, the
Um,
founder houses across Stockholm,
yeah,
as across the Nordics are great. We had Max on the show. We're getting
yeah.
Johannes. Oh, they're
I
great.
know. No, they're great. Like I didn't know about it if I would have like joined as the head. Just like really cool thing are happening, and like when you talk about Stockholm to someone in Italy, they're like, what? So I think for me, it's really important to also share that kind of knowledge because the more we are together as Europe and we understand each other ecosystem, we can also build more things. And I think more and more communities are also trying to bring everything together. I can say it with Product Europe or EF, or they're really trying to make Europe together as a whole rather than like different countries. So I think there is kind of a movement happening also currently in Europe.
I call it the Renaissance. It's the European Renaissance. And I think Stockholm currently has the title of Silicon Valhalla, in my personal opinion, because they're just ripping like no one else's business, right? Or the Nordics as themselves. I want to ask, when it comes to underrepresented hubs across Europe, you must have a unique perspective. Obviously, we know about the Londons, we know about the Parises, we know about the Zurichs as an example. What are we missing from some of these other hubs? Like, what are they doing in Poland, Italy, Estonia? We is just ends up shipping billion-dollar companies left, right, and center. Can you give me some insight?
Yeah, sure. I mean there's a really good company also in Budapest that not many people talk about. Also,
Budapest.
yeah, we had
Interesting.
actually an event there a few months ago. I also brought some really cool founders there just also to see more of the ecosystem. I think Italy is also quite hidden. I feel like they're doing a lot of things, and also with Bocconi, there's a lot of really cool company getting built from there. But like they also a bit within their own ecosystem. Madrid's Spain is also quite interesting. We also have a big Sigma Square in Poland, which is also growing quite a lot with really cool companies. I think there's just really cool humans everywhere, really building cool stuff. And I think what we also try to do with Sigma is like in some of these places, there's not yet such a hub. So we also give them a global hub they can belong to if there's kind of nothing happening within their own country. So we focus mainly also on the individual side of everyone in these hubs. So I could tell you with some names of some people
Oh,
there, but like
please call them
there's
out. We want to get them on the show.
I can send you a list after of like who you to talk to so you can really map all of Europe. Um, but yeah, really cool founders. You can also call to Donat, also in Budapest. I think they would be really interested to talk on the show.
Tell me a little bit about the Budapest ecosystem. What was it like going in? Thinking about like maybe you came in cold and didn't have an understanding of it. What is it like? Is it is it like London? Is it like Stockholm? Has it got that energy? Or is it sort of under the radar at this point in time? Sort of people in less mature market, people are building still in basements, etc. What was the feeling going in?
I think in these places is also like the culture is different, so it's
Okay.
not well seen to be a founder. So you would not go like your parents would never tell you to be. a founder and entrepreneur, so you need to fight against the system to be one. So there's some really cool co-working space you can go and then kind of to belong into a space, but it's not yet, I think, in the culture such a cool thing to do. So I think when this is going to change and when there's going to be a new generation of people that actually made millions by being founders, they're going to be also more people starting building more.
Do you find that the founders that exit or the founders that end up building companies want to stay in that country and sort of give back to those communities and
Actually,
create
yeah.
value?
Yeah, I think that's what I see the most also in Europe. I have really good friends and founders that are from these spaces, and they went to SF, obviously they're building in the US, but like at the core, what they want to do is make their country better, and they really just want to go back. Also, our friend in Zurich went through YC, and he could have just like started everything in the US. He was like, no, I want to build the Swiss ecosystem. I'm going back. I'm hiring from Zurich. I'm not moving from there. This is happening now. So I also find it quite cool that there's this thing of like going back home and building from there.
I think it's awesome, right? I think it's what we need more than ever. We can't let that talent, we can't let those minds, we can't let that capital just be deployed somewhere else. It's incredibly important that we push that back into Europe and uplift the entire ecosystem together. Because without it, we sort of lose that momentum, we lose that energy, and then we get back into that cycle of where we are today of not competing against the US, not competing against China. And I think it's amazing that we have those individuals, as you say, that are coming back and are deploying that capital back and building teams here. When it comes to investing, then, I hear from a little birdie you're part of Gossip Group. Tell me about this.
It's a gossip. We're gonna talk about.
Wouldn't I like to know is basically what hit me when I was building the research. The Angel Syndicates. We had Linda on the show, so we know a little bit about it. Tell me more.
I mean, so we built Gossip Group of Linda mainly with the idea of also like founding people that are also building for positive impact around us, also because we are part of a builder community, and we've been building for so many years. So I think it's also good and interesting to found the people around us that aren't part of the same ecosystem, but also to make the whole investing environment more, I would say, transparent. Because also when I started, I had no clue like how a VC work, how angel syndicate works, how to invest in secondary, how do whatsoever. So I think for us it's really important that it became also more transparent and clear for a lot of different people, like how the whole ecosystem works. Because for me, I didn't understand any of it until founding a company. So I think for us it's also more of a way to help also founders from a more perspective to understand the ecosystem and understand where the money comes from and understand why it's invested and how it's invested, to make it just more transparent, clear, and fair at the end of the day.
So is the goal just to have a great group chat where you can share information, or is it to have events, community meetups, and deploy some of the capital that you end up, Alec, well, you end up building into other startups?
So we're gonna have both. I think everything's also a community. Everything's better with a community. So we having a lot of different events all around the globe, for all of our members, but also proposing some deals as part of the syndicates, which gonna start later this year. But it's a bit of both. Also, just a place for founders and investors to meet in a more relaxed way rather than this, what are you building, how much you raised, what's happening, but just also just a one-on-one human touch of like understanding both humans talking to each other and see how they can collaborate at the end of the day.
Why impact projects? Why specifically those?
I mean, every project I think has an impact. Also, our definition of impact is quite broad. It's not just like, oh, if it's not in sustainability, we're not going to
What
talk
is
to
your
you.
definition?
If it makes people happy, for no, I think for us, it's just having an impact that is not negative on the planet. Like, I don't want to found something that is bringing something negative. I don't want my impact at the end of my life to be like, oh, I found something that had a massive negative impact on humanity and then the planet. So I think for us, it just like if for us, it's not a buzzword. It's just like it's just normal type of investing into company that just make the world also a better place, but it can be in different definition in different industries.
I think it is, right? And I think the broadness of what you're talking about, it puts smiles on people's faces and is incredibly important when it comes to impact.
No, yeah, totally. I think it's important like to back things you're actually interested into and you believe in.
Have you deployed any of your capital into things that make you happy?
I mean, every day we invest into things that makes us happy, but now we're building it a bit more, and it's going to be more structured at the end of this month. So I think then we're gonna really gonna kick off the whole syndicate a bit more.
Do you wrap up your China fellowship inside of that syndicate and invest in those founders, or are those two separate worlds in your life?
They're at the moment quite separate. So it's two different projects, but I can also see how it could blend together. At the moment, it doesn't really, but I never really say no if I think if it makes sense and like there's a really cool company and we really believe into. I think it can make sense, but now at the moment, it's really two different projects.
Tell me about the China fellowship. Is that wrapped up inside of the bridge that you're building, or is it something else?
No, it's also the bridge we're currently building between the rest of China and China actually. The idea was just to recreate what I've been through while going to China. And I was really lucky to meet Catherine, who also showed me around and how the Chinese ecosystem works, because without it, I would have not known what would have happened. So Catherine has been doing a lot of these things for years. And as I was joining her during the whole fellowship, I was like, but none of my ecosystem knows about what you're doing. I think we should talk about it. Can we please talk about it into the whole European ecosystem? And then we started collaborating on it and trying to also share a bit of like what was my experience going to China and how other people can actually join the same experience. So the idea is really just to give everyone the tool to understand how the Chinese ecosystem work. After a week, like you know who to contact when you're back to either like if you need to build your hardware, if you need to hire someone in AI engineering, if you want to raise from there, if you want to relocate, we can also help you to relocate or get a visa or whatsoever. So I think it's a really just in a week you just understand a new ecosystem, you can move there if you want to. It just makes you easier for you to build in there or understand the whole ecosystem and the opportunities you could get actually there.
Absolutely. Does China have hubs in the way that kind of Europe has hubs? There's a lot of car manufacturing in Germany in a very small area. Is it the same in China as an example, where you have a lot of robotics factories in one area, a lot of fashion factories in another area?
Yeah, so you have Shenzhen, you have Shanghai, you have Guangzhou, you have Hong Kong, but it's more like financial, so not that much technical. So you would, and then you have Beijing, of course. So you go to different places depending of what you need and what you're building. But still, like the ecosystem is quite tight in terms of like if you want to build robotic in Shanghai, it's also possible. You need to go to Shenzhen. So it's the thing is like it's so efficient everywhere that so you could actually do it everywhere. But it's obviously Shenzhen is still a kind of central place if you need to build in robotics. I would rather go to Beijing if you build in AI or different places.
Louise, what's next on the docket for you? You feels like you're spinning so many plates. Like, where do you even go from here? Is it continue to build out the communities, continue to run the fellowship, or have you got an itch to start a startup again?
I think soon we might build a startup again. I think now I'm still gonna be in the ecosystem for year and a half. But I think as soon as I think for me, if I build a new startup, I need to feel like it's the only thing I can do and I can actually put my time into. So I need to feel the itch, like it's not possible to do anything else, which I haven't felt yet. But I think in a year and a half, I might be back to building.
We love to see it. We're looking forward to getting you back on the show. I want to hear more about the black box from China. We've had you on as an intro now, and now we're going to do, I hopefully soon we can do a deep dive, really understand how that Chinese ecosystem works. How does that sound?
100%. We can also call when I'm in China. I can show you around so you can
That
get.
sounds perfect. Live stream from China. Here we come.
I'm in a factory. I'm going to be like, look at this.
I want
So
to
we
see
can.
everything. That would be awesome. I want to see the
We can
humanoids. We can get Revel involved, who was first on the show. Louise, this has
let's
been an absolute pleasure. You got to add me to this gossip group.
I can. Let's do it. Oh,
Thanks so much for the time. We'll see you soon.
have a lovely day.
You too as well.